Hey guys, this is Nodlammers Invoked 101. Welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at a Charmer deck profile. This is one that me and Mio put together one night because we both really like the Charmer monsters and their artwork, and there was a new card for them out of the Dual Overload set, so we both were like, put them together. So that's what we did. I also used to have a Charmer deck like a million years ago when I first got back into the game, so having one of these again is kind of neat, just kind of one of those nostalgia things for me. And in the OCG there is a new Charmer structure deck coming out, so that's pretty exciting, and I'll probably talk about those cards as they get revealed. But with all that said, down in the description, if you want to support the channel, as always, there is a link to our Patreon, our Teespring, our Discord, our Cash App, and our Ko-fi. So if you feel like checking out any of those links down there, we're also still doing the cross promotion with Send Calamity. So if you feel like getting any of these stickers along with some of his other stuff, he does have other stickers based on different anime. You can check those down. Check that out down in the description below. And you can get 20% off using my code Invoked101. With that said, I'm going to set the spells extra deck off to the side, and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. I'm only really playing two Charmers. I'm playing the Light Charmer and the Dark Charmer. So all the Charmers have the same effect, except it varies only by like one word, which is so on flip, they get to take control of one monster your opponent controls that's the same attribute as them, as long as the card is face up. So that's really cool, but the reason we're playing these two instead of like other ones is because their familiar possesseds actually have different effects. So all the familiar possessed share two effects, which is that you can tribute their appropriate Charmer, so for Dark it'd be Dark, and for Lina it'd be Lina, and one monster that is their same attribute. So like you tribute Dark and a Dark to summon Dark. And then if they're and you can summon them from your deck, and I think, is it from hand or deck either way? Yeah, so all of them can summon from hand or deck and special themselves that way. And then they all, if they're summoned that way, they all get piercing. But Dark and Lina each have a bonus effect when they're summoned. So Dark, when he's special summoned from the deck using his special summon condition, you can search a level 3 or 4 light spellcaster from the deck, which basically equivalates to these two. And then Lina, when she's special summoned from the deck, you can add a spellcaster monster with 1500 defense from your deck to your hand, which searches a lot of things, but it also searches the entire familiar possessed and Charmer archetypes. So going over some of the other familiar possessed we play, we also play 2 Win, which only, if you summon her the proper way, she only gets piercing. 2 Area, again, only gets piercing. 1 Asa and 1 Hita. So you might be thinking, why only 1 Asa and Hita? I only had 1. I thought I had more, but I guess I only had the 1. So some of these cards are really old. Like, I've just had these cards hanging out, so which is why they kind of look beat up under the like fancy lights. But yeah, so that's it for the Charmer and Familiar Possessed monsters. Like I said, they don't really do a lot, but they are the main thing for the deck. Then we're also playing some of the familiars. If you don't know what the familiars are, it involves 2 Nefarious Archfiend, 2 Gigabyte, 2 Ranryu, and 2 Inari Fire. So these all do different things, but they all have a shared effect, which is that if you control a spellcaster monster, you can special them, and you can only control one of them. So like you can only control 1 Inari Fire, you can only control 1 Ranryu, basically. And then they all have 1500, 200. So Gigabyte, when he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a monster with 1500 and 200 defense from your deck, except for Gigabyte. Then Ranryu, when he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a monster with 1500 attack and 200 defense in your graveyard and special summon it. That isn't Ranryu. It cannot be Ranryu, so these two are easily the best ones. Nefarious Archfiend, if he, during your opponent's end phase, if he's in the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, destroy it, and special summon him. Then Inari Fire has the ability of, during the standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it from the graveyard. So Inari Fire is probably the weakest one out of this batch, but it's a fire, so I just wanted to play kind of a little bit of all of them. And that's it for the monsters. So there's that. Moving into the spells and traps. Starting us off, we have the brand new card out of Dual Overload, Awakened of the Possess. This is a really neat little card. It says, monsters you control gain 300 attack for each different attribute monster you control, and then it says Charmer and familiar possessed monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. If a spellcaster monster you control with 1850 would, oh my god, sorry. If a spellcaster monster you control with 1850 original attack is normal or special to your field, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Awakening once per turn. So it's a neat little card that adds some consistency to the deck and the strategy. Next up, we have a card that I threw in here. This is Fissure. It destroys the opponent's monster with the lowest attack. This is a really old card. It's just a card that I like to play in like really old, really kind of bad decks. So like I said, this deck isn't winning anything soon. So I'm just playing that there. Here's a card I kind of like out of Chaos Impact. I picked up a lot of these. So this is Spiritual Entanglement, and it says target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, banish it until the end phase. You can only activate 1 per turn. This is a really cool little card, and I think it's worth picking up right now just because it's like a penny stock, and I think it's gonna go up in price at some point because it's just one of those cards that's just like it's targeting removal, but it lets you swing and hit stuff, so that's the main reason. It lets you just swing directly. And then 1 Secret Village. Should probably play more of this, but I only had the 1 spare, so that's what I'm playing for these spells. Moving into the traps, we have the OG Familiar Possessed support card, Unpossessed, and this thing is probably the best card in the deck. Not even gonna joke about it. It says Charmer monsters can't be destroyed by battle. If a Familiar Possessed monster you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during damage calc only. And then it says if a monster you control is destroyed with 1500 defense is destroyed, you can special summon 1 monster with a different attribute with 1500 defense from your deck that has a different original attribute than those destroyed monsters and face up attack or face down defense, and you can only use that effect once per turn. So pretty cool. Tutors out a Charmer or a Familiar Possessed straight from the deck. And then 3 Magic Cylinder. This is a card Mio put in here. She really likes Magic Cylinder. She calls it Cups, and there's not much more I gotta say. I mean, Magic Cylinder, as we all know, it's all won us a game, you know. And then the last card I'm playing is Call the Haunted, and this is mostly just to keep a body on board. Like I said, this isn't the best deck in the world, but definitely Call the Haunted helps just to keep something on board. So, and with that is it for the main deck lineup. So moving into the extra deck, before I get to that, this deck can do other things. You can make rank 4s with it, you can make more links with it, but you probably already guessed the only thing I'm playing in the extra deck is of course the Charmers themselves, the new ones. So all of these guys have the same effect. They all pretty much do the same thing. Hita, her ability, so each of them need at least 1 monster of their own attribute, but they all require 2 monsters and they all have 1850. So, and they're all treated as Familiar Possessed as well, and they have Charmer in their name, so you don't have to worry about like other stuff conflicting. So it says you can target 1 monster of their attribute in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to a zone this card points to. If this link summon card is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect while in its owner's monster zone, you can add 1 monster of their appropriate attribute with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So, and then you can only use that effect once per turn. So that's what they do. So like if this one dies, this one can special a wind and search a wind, this one can special an earth and search an earth, and this one can special a fire and search a fire. So yeah, that's it. And like I said, you can make rank 4s with these if you want. You can play other links. These are just kind of the ones that I put in here because they straight up are a part of the archetype. And with that said, that's it for the Charmer deck. This is a really simple deck, just a really quick little deck profile I just wanted to share with you guys. I know it's not the best, it's not supposed to be the best, it's just supposed to be something fun. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. Down in the description, like I mentioned before, there's links to our Patreon, our Teespring, our Cash App, our Ko-fi, and our Discord. If you like supporting the channel, that's how you want to do it. And there's also those Send Calamity stickers you guys can pick up if you check out his link in the description. You can get 20% off using the code that's also in the description. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.